morning, and welcome to the program this morning. It is a great day to be alive. I am glad to be here. I'm glad to be alive. That's a lot. That's a lot just as it is. But anyhow, welcome to the program. I trust that all is well with you and yours, and that you are able to handle whatever it is that life is throwing at you. Oh boy, I know life usually give a whole lot of sucker punches to a lot of people, but it is my prayer that you are able to really just not hang in there. Do you see this hanging in their business? We know what happens with hanging in. I'm not hoping that you're hanging in. I'm hoping that you are effectively handling whatever it is that has been brought to you, whatever situation that you are faced with. I am hoping that you are effectively able to handle them. This morning, we have a very interesting program. That's the only way I could put it, interesting. I have a guest that is a very dear friend and sister of mine. She has been here already once, yeah? Twice. Darlene, good morning.
Hi,
twice?
Good morning, yes.
Twice before?
Twice.
Really? I didn't even realize that. Yeah. Well, I can't tell you welcome to Grenada again.
No.
You turned Grenada now.
Yes, turned Grenada now.
You look like me, you know.
Yeah.
I'm fine. You see?
Yeah. Yes.
So we could actually say that, you know,
yes.
sisters and not
yes.
and not make people wonder. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Very interesting times that we are in, so we have to have the interesting discussions.
Yes. I'm interested.
Well, let me just tell you all a secret just before. So this is Darlene. Right. For those of you who may have just may never have heard on the previous programs. But she is in Grenada and is an
agro-processor
at heart.
Yes.
Really at heart. But we're not talking about that today.
Yeah, no.
But she is that at heart. And definitely we actually am planning to have a program with not just agro-processors, but persons who are looking at transforming our economic landscape with what they're already doing. So there are two other individuals that I am hoping to come on board, and we're going to have a really awesome discussion that will come soon, right? I know for sure it will be soon enough, all right? So we're going to have that. What they're doing in Grenada, I've been very impressed by the businesses, you know, so we'll definitely do that. But today, we are here to talk about something that I already believe that as a people who say that we are children of God, we can no longer pretend that these things do not exist, right? We say that we are children of God. For most of you who are listening and viewing, you would say that you are a child of God, that you are a Christian. I believe that most of you who are listening will say that with no, without having to figure it out. The question, however, is always, if it is that you're a child of God, are you really doing what is God's business in the earth, right? Jesus came and he said, here what? I am doing what I see my Father doing, and he also said, I must be about my Father's business. You know, so too many of us are supposedly in the kingdom. We say God is our Father, but when we look at our activities and we look at what we're doing and not doing, we're leaving too many people confused, yeah? So we are looking today, though, at a spiritual perspective on Grenada's situation. Everybody comes up with all kinds of answers for Caribbean issues, for global issues. And the sad reality is that the more we remove or neglect to attend or address the spiritual significance of anything, we are going to end up in trouble. So before we go into our discussion, I just want to make reference to a book by one of my guests, Joan Purser, now Dame, Joan Purser. She wrote this book. This particular edition was the one from, that would be now 12 years ago, because we're in 11 years ago, because this was the 40th anniversary of Grenada's edition. Last year, and she was on the program, she did the one for the 50th, right, where there were 2 chapters added in. But this book, and of course it's available, and yes, I have permission to talk about Joan's book. But this one is called, it's called From Wilderness to Promise, a spiritual perspective on Grenada's history. I'm going to pull out a few things, as we go along. But it's not that I'm advertising the book, is that it is the only book in Grenada. It is the only book on Grenada that looks at Grenada's history and looks at Grenada's present and future from a spiritual perspective. Right. We have a wonderful book by the late George Brizan that is Grenada Island of Conflict. I used that book when I did history in college, and really good book. But as usual, so many people have done a lot of history on Grenada, but it's always from either a socio-economic or political perspective. Joan is the only person who has attempted at all. This is, it's a Herculean task to address it from this place, to look at it from this place. But not only that, also from the place of being able to get solutions to what we are facing. So before we turn to certain things in the book, because I already believe it adds, there is another thing that I have observed, and which is where our discussion started, is when we look in Grenada's history, there is no recording of an awakening, a spiritual awakening. You go in European history, you go in American history, you go in the history of Wales and Scotland. You go a lot of places, even in some places in the Caribbean too, and you can identify in this period of time, in that nation's history, there was a marked spiritual release of the power of God. We don't have that in Grenada. I find that is something to be very concerned about.
Right.
And to be challenged about, because those of us who are listening, if you're catching this program this morning, you will already have to ask yourself, why is it that I am listening to this program? Because as a child of God, you will be charged. You are being charged by listening to this program. You are being charged with with whether or not you have been doing what you have been called to do. Yeah? Anyway, so handing over to you, at least definitely to begin by sharing where God began to bring you with this that brought us to this question in the first place.
Well, being in business, as a believer in business, you understand that you are a light in the community. You are a light wherever you go and where your business function. And I realized that there are a lot of persons in the Christian community that are doing business and are struggling. And I started to have this conversation with the Lord about why the struggle. Where is the struggle coming from?
Right.
And how could we overcome this particular struggle? And it's almost like if there is a resistance. It's not that your ideas are bad, you are diligent, you put your hands to good work, but yet there is a resistance that comes as you try to implement some of the things. And the Lord brought me back and started to talk to me, and I have some things written here about the history of the land that you are in, even the history of the industry that you are in, and what were some of the things that happened in the years gone by that influences how it's done now and how the land operates now. And that also now led me to, okay, have we been released from the bondages of slavery? We have been so physically, but have we been so spiritually? The effects of what happened at slavery was dealt with, not on only a personal or a family line position, but nationally, because during slavery, you know that there were a lot of ills that was done against humanity. Innocent blood was shed on the land, and the Bible talks a lot about the land holding remembrance, just as it did with Abel, and how even the scripture says that if my people shall humble themselves and seek my face and pray, then I will heal their land. And so it means that the land has an integral part to the prosperity of the land, of the people that live in the land. So I started, that's where the conversation with me and God started about the land and if these things were addressed. And then I started just in my head wondering if, as a region where slavery was birthed here in us, has we as this region ever dealt with the spiritual aspects of slavery and have been released from that? Have we stood in the gap and cried out for repentance for all of the innocent lives that were shed? Did we cry out to the Lord and ask that he heal us as a people? And all of these things, questions started coming up, and that's where I call and I say, I need to find out some stuff. I need to find out some stuff because I really believe that it's an integral part to the progress of a land and the progress and prosperity of a nation and its people. Not just some of its people, but all of its people. And so those are some of the things that I said.
Okay, I want to go back a little bit on a few things that you just, you released there. Firstly, when we're talking Christian business, how are you defining that? Because I could say I'm quote unquote a Christian, as in I believe that Jesus Christ is real.
Yes.
Right? And because I believe Christ is real, to some people they might figure, okay, well, I'm a Christian, and that means I'm good to go.
Yeah.
When you are saying a Christian business person, how are you defining that firstly?
I'm defining it as somebody who believes that their business is a tool for God to use the business in this land. Whether it can be in a plethora of areas, it can be in helping the elderly, helping the poor, helping the needy. It could be providing jobs. It can be impacting a community, increasing standards of living. But the core focus of the business is that God is leading these initiatives.
Right.
Not I am leading the initiative and asking God to bless the initiative, but God is leading the initiative and I'm a partaker or in partnership with God to do what he wants done. So that's how I define a Christian business.
Right. Now, I'm asking that first because especially in light of, it still is said that Grenada is a quote-unquote Christian nation, right? And maybe to a large extent, we definitely are. But in practice, many times, that's a whole different story all by itself. But because we say that, I believe that a lot of individuals who are business people, in their mind, I'm a Christian business person.
Right.
Minus whether they're still trying to thief on the pot.
Right.
Cheat everybody.
Yes.
Not be clear with their taxes. That's a whole different story again.
Yeah.
But I'm a quote unquote, I'm a Christian because of even some of the things that you just said.
Yeah.
I am giving, but it's who are giving.
Right.
So I'm thinking that Christian there will have to still come back to practical lifestyle practices. That where you are saying God's principles is firstly what is guiding me as an individual. And as a result, this business that I have has to be led according to these
principles that I live by. Not by what I read, but what I live by, and that's the challenge. It's not an easy thing because you have to stand for righteousness. You have to stand in integrity and not compromising, and not compromising in a system that encourages compromise is you really, that's why it has to be a personal lifestyle thing first.
Yeah.
Then it translates to the business so that the business can also work in integrity, because we are operating in a system where integrity is lacking. So that's key.
Right. So that's one. So we got the definition down pat. Now you also mention that as a land, not just some people, which again, maybe the systems of this world is, I believe, largely designed to encourage some to be happy and prosper, at least from a materialistic standpoint, and others on the you're just there. Maybe well, if you get a little season of grace, no problem. Have fun then, but it must not be a lifestyle.
Exactly.
So, when we're talking, firstly, spiritualism. What? Let me take that word back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me take that word back.
Yeah.
When we talk about a Christian business person impacting the nation, would you say that individual has to be okay, you go some places and you see the name of the business is Jesus is Lord Laundry.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Would you say that will be? Yeah.
That's
because personally, I'm like, Jesus shouldn't be Lord on your neighbor load.
Yes.
Jesus is Lord should be in your practice.
Exactly.
In your implementation. That should be where Jesus is Lord come in.
Yes.
Because it's really difficult for you to go and put Jesus is Lord laundry services.
Yeah.
And when people come and deal with you, really and truly they swear is devil is king.
Yeah.
That was your name because of how you behave.
Exactly.
But anyhow, go ahead. So,
I'm saying that saying Christian business doesn't mean playing gospel music also in the establishment, putting it on your name or that sort of thing. Your integral systems and processes have to reflect Christ. So it means therefore that and it mustn't only be outward showing, it must also be internal. So the way that you treat your workers, the way that you pay them, the way that you have the facilities for them. Because I'm not sure if you ever go to an establishment and you have to use the toilet for an emergency. And I've been to a few. And the front of the place, beautiful. And then when you go to the washroom facilities and they say, oh, come, you can use here, you're tiptoeing through this space because you're like, how? So the outward facing is good, but yet the internal and the backward things are not good. It has to be good right through. From the top come all the way down to the bottom. It has to be right. And that, again, it starts from a devotion to Christ, from an individual perspective, and then that translates into the business.
Okay.
So,
all right. So we take that.
Yeah.
As I say, I just pulling out a few things from what you mentioned. Now, you also mentioned that in your experience and knowing you as I do, I know that you have a lot of connections with other business persons in the Caribbean region. So from your experience, you mentioned that there seems to be a resistance, a force.
Yes.
I want you to talk about that more specifically, because there are people who I believe might be experiencing certain things and they don't really understand, that is what's going on there. So and I'm going to deliberately use that example just for benefit too of the discussion, and that people could also be able to kind of translate it to another topic. I was chatting with someone yesterday about prayer. A very beautiful Catholic sister friend of mine.
Yes.
She's my darling. I'm a good girl.
Yes.
My plant friend.
You're right.
So you know how I feel about my plants.
Yes.
And we were talking about prayer. And I was, just encouraging her and just saying, I believe that the Lord is calling you to really bring a fire of prayer right there in the Catholic Church where you are, where you go to church. So we were talking about that. And then she mentioned something, and when I gave her the response, she was really in shock. She mentioned that they had, since about last year, they had a retreat at Monks and Ovens. Well, you remember, how beautiful So they had a retreat there. And she said they had a wonderful time. They were on fire. They were praying. It was... And then, as soon as they came back, she said, how she described it is like, well, I don't know what happened. It's like we just fall down in a hole. Yeah. And I said to her, nobody told you that you all were going to get backlash for what you all went and did. Yeah. She looked at me, she said, what do you mean? I said, but you all just went and spent a whole weekend seeking God, wanting more of God. I said, you actually believe that the enemy would have just sat there
and allow you
to come back. I said, you now have to keep that fire going.
Yes.
That fire, God light the fire already.
Yes.
You brought the sacrifice.
Yes.
You are the sacrifice. You brought that sacrifice of yourself onto the altar. Yeah. God poured the fire on. Wonderful.
Yes.
And I think, but it happens a lot. Because a lot of times we have this amazing spiritual experience.
Yes.
And then 1 week, well, don't ask when you reach back home. Yeah. It's like the devil waiting by your door. And people are so discouraged, and maybe we're talking to you. Maybe you are, one of those persons who's listening today, and you might be really discouraged and harassed in your spirit. Why is it that when you try to get closer to God, when you really, all of a sudden, it's like if you take 10 steps backward. Yeah. I believe it's that resistance. So I brought it here, as I say, from a spiritual context first. Let's bring it as it relates to business. Yeah.
So let me give an example as to what resistance looks like. All right, so I'll give a personal example.
Sure.
The Lord shows you a vision in business. He shows you how to expand. He shows you it clear. You understand it. You more than understand it. It's in your belly. It's you can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can understand what he's doing. So you set out now with the guidance of the Holy Ghost. You say, all right, how should I do this? You do up your plans. Okay. So I need to go to, let's say, organization X, because if I go there, I may be able to get, say, a permit to be able to do what the Lord is asking me to do. So you're very excited, you get all your documents, you go to this institution. You go into the institution, they ask you for all the documents, you submit all the documents, you're on fire. It should be ready in 2 weeks. So you're excited. So while you're waiting on your permit, you're doing other things. 2 weeks come, you make a call. It's not ready yet. All right. Okay, when you think it will be ready, call back in 2 days. All right. It's in this place, somebody needs to sign it, whatever. All right? You call back in 2 days, that person who you talk to don't know what you're talking about. Right.
Oh, geez.
So now you're like, okay, but I call and they tell me, call back. Well, ma'am, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so you hang up the phone. Now you're wondering, well, what's going on? So you decide instead of calling, you're going to go. When you go now, you meet somebody rude at the counter. Right? And they're just dismissive. They don't want to talk to you at all. Now, you know the certificate is integral to this whole plan that God tell you. But, so now this institution now becomes a resistance.
Right.
Right? And the person's working with it is working in the institution, is supporting the resistance. unknowingly.
Of course.
Unknowingly, because they don't have no clue about what the Lord told you.
Right.
But because the institution that has been there for years and also stand up there as an institution, a strong institution, you now getting resistance. You're getting resistance. So you go there. 1 month now, so the 2 weeks turn into 1 month, turn into 3 months, turn into 6 months, and everything now is on halt. Everything is halted because you cannot get this one thing.
Yeah.
That's what resistance look like.
And then frustration.
Frustration steps in.
Oh, yeah.
Not only frustration, but then doubt step in.
Yeah.
I wonder if I did hear God, or it's because my belly was full. I wonder if it was my own thoughts. I wonder if God did really tell me this. Why it's not working out? No. And then people who were probably close to you realize now that things not coming off the ground, start to ask you, you sure you're here, God? You sure? You know? You know?
You're crazy now.
Yeah.
And then they'll start to tell you, you just have too much of big ideas. That is why.
Yes.
That is why.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when God would have already spoken, and he wants this to come to pass, and now we're faced with resistance. Now, sometimes the resistance is from a national level. Sometimes it's from an institutional level. And sometimes it's from person level as well. But resistance is resistance. Right? And that is when now you have to go back to God and ask where the resistance is. And Lord, give me the strategy to how to break through this resistance. Right? And not just go in, you know how a lot of us pray, start to pray. And they start to pray against the poor officer who is none the wiser.
Well, we start to kill everybody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of killing that has gone in prayer. It is, and that's wrong.
And that's
Stop
wrong.
it.
Yeah.
Yes?
Because the poor officer ain't know nothing. They're just going along with the system in the institution.
Correct.
So, and some institutions also empower front-facing officers and give them authority as well. So they come there like, you ain't getting past me. I am the gatekeeper. You're not getting past me. So we have all of this is resistance. But some of this has been handed down from colonial days, come all the way down, and we are continuing as a people that are free, supposed to be free, keeps perpetuating the same ideology, the same mindset, the same behaviors as our colonizers. And we are now, as a people, entrapping our own selves and prohibiting our own selves from growing.
Shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yes. Cutting it off. We're shooting it. You're cutting us off. So, whap.
Yeah.
At the knee. And now, as a people, we are not moving as a people. So the other day, I saw something on social media, a brand new road, just paved, brand new road. And then an excavator came with all of its tracks and run down the brand new road. Nobody is to think about, brand new road, I shouldn't run an excavator on this brand new road, it will mash it up.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's these types of, I don't know if it's not deliberate thinking.
No.
It's not deliberate thinking, but it's a thinking that is hindering progress and causing resistance, both in the natural realm and in the spiritual realm.
Now, I want to piggyback on that, especially in light of what I mentioned in the earlies. There are three, without my glasses I say three, it's five. With the glasses on I see it's five. There are 5 questions that Joan says that she will seek, that she's answering in the book. She said, and simple questions, but the simple questions I believe are the most profound.
Yes.
Who are we? And we're talking Grenada.
Yes.
Who are we? Where are we? what's wrong, what's the solution, and what time is it?
Right.
I believe that sadly, because up to now, as a people, we have not been able to individually and nationally answer those questions. We continue to facilitate the very things that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
How, for example, and with all due respect to, I don't know who did the poster. It just come to mind. Well, it's not a poster. I use the wrong phrase. It is a signboard. I was driving through a particular village, and I saw, this is a child-friendly school.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Now, to give credit, I believe that maybe there must have been maybe some little project or something that gave rise to that. I don't believe that anybody just come up with it, right. So there must have been a reason why that phrase.
Yeah.
But I'm raising it because we're looking at mindset.
Yes.
In the first place, aren't all schools supposed to be child-friendly?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sadly, though, if it is that you do go into that school, I'm wondering immediately if every child has experienced what you say on your vision board.
Right.
And I'm looking at us as a nation. If we were to ask any and every political party that has been given opportunity to lead this land, if we were to ask from past administrations to our present, if we were to ask them, who are we as a nation and where are you bringing us? Honestly and truly, I have a feeling they don't know. And I'm bold-faced saying that here. Simply because if we go back through our history,
right,
because you have to look back to know where you're going.
Where you need to go to.
Have we really clearly established who we are?
Yeah.
Because if we had, we would have taught it in our schools.
Yes.
If we had, we would have instilled it in our everything.
Yeah.
Our Constitution, for example. Really and truly, I've taught social studies and history for years in more than one school. And I know that really and truly, we teach just what the brief curriculum say, a little bit of Grenada's history, a little bit of Caribbean, really and truly about Columbus, who we know didn't really discover anything. But anyway, we have this selective view of our own Caribbean.
Yes.
That we have, and that is what we have been
teaching.
We have perpetuated another person's culture.
Yes.
And defined it as our own, because in the first place, we don't know who we are.
No.
Now, the biggest challenge is, you see this chair? It made for sitting. And if right now I get up and I start to jump up on top of this chair, well, first of all, Dwayne will cut off the program, and then I'm sure a sign will go up real quick saying we have, we have a little situation in the studio.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, okay, this woman used to look very normal.
Yeah.
And is it because I'm already not normal, but simply because I'm no longer using the chair for what it's supposed to use?
Yes.
We have been using ourselves, our nation, our peoples in the Caribbean. And I don't believe that we have identified what we are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So we have a whole lot of blind leading blind. Oh boy. Well, actually, no. It's a one-eye man in a blind eye country.
Yeah.
It has happened a lot of times.
Yeah.
When one person eye blind, all them blind, when one person have a one eye, all the blind people say, of course, man.
Yes.
But can you imagine if people have two eyes, how you encouraging a one eye man to lead you?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyhow, I like to prophesy in parables sometimes, so you proceed.
Yes. Well, what you're saying is right. As so let me talk about it from a regional perspective. Even as a region, a Caribbean region, we also have to answer those said questions that Miss June mentioned in her book. Who are we as a people of the Caribbean? Who are we? And have one answer. Not just that we are the land of spice, or we are the land of jewels, or this, that, or the other. One answer. Who are we as the Caribbean people? And we are one people. Throughout the Caribbean, we are one. We are just on different rocks, but we are all one people. Who are we? And I think if we understand and have and we get to really fully appreciate who we are, then the segregation among us will cease, and we will all come together as one and build, all of us building together. That's my firm belief. Because in COVID, we saw how there was a lot of disjointedness among the nations in this region. And being in agro-processing, I also saw that food became an issue in some countries. So while some countries had a lot in one thing, another country needed that thing, but couldn't get it from one island to another, right? Before we started, we had the whole conversation about airfare, and it's $1,000 easy to fly from Grenada to Trinidad, right there. And we can't move food from Grenada to St. Lucia seamlessly, right? We could say, people can argue and say, well, you could send it by air, you could send it, but it's the cost to do that. If a farmer has excess tomatoes here in Grenada, and there is a processor in St. Martin that needs tomatoes, right? How are we linking these two things? There are no linkages. And why is that? The existing shipping routes within our region are some of the same routes that was used during slavery, and they have not been adjusted to service the islands in the region. So now if I have to send something, it has to go to Miami first before it comes back down. If I have to send to Antigua, it has to leave, go Miami, and then come back down to Antigua, and all of these sorts of things.
And Antigua is just there.
And Antigua is right there. So we all need to answer both naturally and also have a spiritual perspective as who we are as a people. And that is key, spiritually and naturally.
All right. So we set the basis physically. We'll go into spiritually. But let's take a quick break.
Yes. Yes.
Are you a young person who has been asking themselves how they can take part in youth activity and youth ministry in our diocese today? Or are you a leader who has been working with young people in your parish and want or have a desire to make it grand and bigger diocesan-wise? Now, we are planning and want to work with you. We want to listen also to you. On the 4th of October, we are inviting you for a grand mass jubilee of healing and also a place of creating something new as we begin and continue building on what has been there, but making it more beautiful, more enticing, and more interesting for our young people as we try to make them disciples and make more people disciples. See you on the 4th of October, 3 p.m. Gather your poses, gather your buses. God bless you. What an awesome, awesome God you are. No one like you, none beside you. God, we worship you. Arise from our lives. Let's take the church alive. Hope like no
because of your grace, in the power of you.
Well, I don't understand. How is it that on a Friday from 10 to 11, the time, that hour is the fastest hour ever?
Yes.
I can't. We have 10 more minutes in the program.
Yes, yeah.
I don't want to use the word crazy. It's what happens when you're talking good talk.
Yeah.
So that means you have to come back. Because we clearly didn't get to the spiritual part as much as we wanted to. But still, I believe that we set a good foundation for where we want to go. What I said at the beginning, which is where, but because we had to set all that premise first, what I said at the beginning though, with the fact that Grenada has never had a deep, let me not even say deep, a spiritual awakening. People have come to Grenada. If we go back to most of our denominations, it's somebody who has come from wherever, whether it's the Caribbean, whether it's Europe, whether it's America, but somewhere. And ministry, a grouping started up, right? And that was it. It started, each person go, they tell their friend, or whether it was in a community or whatever. But in terms of the Holy Spirit moving in mass and people being able to testify en masse that look what the Lord has done. Not just, and this is not a downplay, of course, when I pray as an individual and the Lord comes through for me. Come on, that is not at all that we are making that smaller, because that is amazing. It's God doing what he's doing. But really being able to say as a nation that the Lord has visited the land. I find that is a problem. I find that as a people, and maybe because of the resistance, because people are so distracted by what is resisting them, or not even being aware of where the resistance is coming from. Understanding how to fight, we have been succumbing to the resistance. So the enemy is pressing. And I know for sure he must be very angry, because it's one thing for me to run my mouth on quite up in St. Patrick's on on one station, but to come here and no, I shouldn't do that. But well, we know who win anyway. But to see God move where people are able in droves to say God transformed this. Because I mean, with all due respect to every wonderful program that everybody trying to come up with, be it government or be it an NGO or what, nice programs, and I'm not saying stop it. I mean, come on, we each are doing what we believe is our part to do. But I'm saying, with all these wonderfully intended programs and projects, they are unable, have been unable. There is proof that these projects do not bring permanent solutions to our situation. I remember reading in God's Generals that there was this particular, I can't remember that particular minister now, and I don't want to call the wrong name here, but he was jailed several times for healing without a license. I just can't remember his name. He was back in the, I wonder if it was code, I don't want to call the wrong name. But anyway, but he was, and what I loved about the book is that they had proof. They had newspaper proof. You're seeing the date. They had clippings of the newspaper then. Showing him behind bars. And his charge was he healed without a license, because the Doctors Association in the time said we have no more work, because anytime this preacher comes in our communities, everybody gets healed. So we have no work to do because there are no sick people. Well, I know for sure, given the challenges that we have in our healthcare system, that people will glad.
Yes.
And I wish somebody could comment on Facebook right now. Dwayne will let me know. If the Spirit of God,
Yes.
Lord, I don't want to preach, I want to behave nicely,
Yes.
I'm the host,
Yes.
moves in this nation,
Yes.
where we don't have to even bother
Yeah.
to go,
Yeah, to the
because we already having challenges there. Why bother?
Yeah.
Where somebody who has been suffering, like the woman with the issue of blood. The Bible didn't say she just come by Jesus, you know. It says she went to all the doctors.
Yes.
And now her money is done. And she decided what? Well, let me go to the biggest doctor.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Yes.
the drama in Grenada? Well, good drama. Woo-hoo. Oh, Lord,
Yes.
I'm getting excited. When I
Yes.
think about how God could move if we allow him to move.
Yes.
If we understand what time it is.
Yes.
If we understand that the solution
Yeah.
is not religion.
No.
And that is what I find so beautiful. And I always, and maybe I should take this opportunity even now again to say thank you to Dwayne
Yes.
and thank you to Bishop Harvey.
Yes.
To have somebody who is not Catholic on a
Yes.
Catholic station speaking like this, because we ain't speaking about nothing to do with which Catholic or Pentecostal
No.
or anything. We
No.
are speaking about the good of the land and the spiritual need. Of this nation.
Yes.
What we need is the fire of God.
Yes.
What we need is the power of God.
Yes.
Because I could guarantee, I have a feeling them nurses in the hospital go be real happy if I start to heal without a license.
Yes. Yeah.
Less people to come.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the healthcare system.
Yeah.
Because if you come with a tumor on the side of your head, girl,
Yeah.
and I say, just like Jesus said,
Yes.
in the name of Jesus. Well, he didn't say in the name of Jesus because he was there.
Yeah.
But let me say
Yes.
like what Paul and them say.
Yeah.
In the name
Of Jesus.
of Jesus. Tumor,
Be gone.
go. And we continue talking.
Yes.
And the tumor right before these people,
Yes.
just
And gone.
because it don't have a choice.
Yes.
Because it understand that somebody understand their authority.
Yeah.
And he decide, well, Papa, you see me, I don't waiting for Molix. At
Yes.
least she tell me just go.
Yes.
I'm not waiting for her to beat me.
Yes.
Let me just leave the
Yes.
woman and
And-
go. We have not had that in Grenada.
Right.
I know, because I love history. I know when I go back in our history, nowhere. And we know, even if it's not documented in a history book, but we know Grenadian, we know our Caribbean people. We
Yes.
will pass on.
Yes.
That's history
Yes.
too.
Yes.
We will pass on orally what happened.
Yes.
And I know we could talk about things that happened. I remember when the bus fell the stone fell on the bus and different things. We talk about these things.
Yeah.
But nowhere has it ever been said, or is it being said, I remember when I sat in the stadium. Can you imagine our generation saying that?
Yeah.
10 years from now,
Yeah.
when they say, I went to
To-
the Catholic Church,
Yes.
and that priest prayed for a man that came in a wheelchair.
Yes. And, he
And
stood
that
up.
man left the wheelchair there by
Yes.
the priest and he went back home.
Yes.
Hey, can you imagine when we realize that God didn't care whether he's Catholic,
No.
7th day,
No.
Pentecost. God is not interested in these labels
No.
that we have given to ourselves.
Yeah.
He's interested in hearts
Yes.
that want him. And I am declaring and prophesying today that God
Yep.
is in the mood to bring an awakening in Grenada. He's in a mood to deal with the resistance.
Yes.
If he will get some people
Yeah.
who are willing to make the sacrifice and the commitment
Yes.
to pray,
Yes.
to genuinely pray. Not pray when they call a prayer day,
Yeah.
but to pray and make your life become an altar.
Yeah.
Where
He just wants a willing vessel and somebody who would say, okay, use me. Use me. Use my business.
yeah.
Use my use me. I am available. I will do what you want me to do. The time is now. People need answers. You walk the street and you see so many angry people. You see people lashing out at people, just a little bounce. Sometimes, you know, you're walking and people